Hello, you're listening to Cheat Sheets. I'm Sophie Ridge.
And I'm Wilfred Frost. It's Wednesday, the 4th of February, and here's what's happening.
Police have now launched a criminal investigation into allegations around Peter Mandelson. The Conservatives, meanwhile, are pushing for all the documents to be published relating to how he was appointed to the US ambassador.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has moved out of his prior home in Windsor to his new home in Sandringham as police assess claims against him.
And the government has published its new 10-year cancer plan that they say will help people living with the disease for longer.
We will once again be talking about individuals mentioned in the Epstein files, and a reminder that simply being mentioned in the files doesn't make you guilty of any crime. So, focusing on Lord Mandelson, first of all, Sophie, two big developments yesterday. One is that the police have announced a criminal investigation into allegations of misconduct in public office against him from when he was business secretary in the Gordon Brown government. The other is that the Conservatives are going to use this parliamentary term, an Opposition Day humble address motion, to try and get the government to reveal the advice they received before they appointed him as ambassador. Shout out to Sam Coates and Politics at Sam and Anne's for breaking that first this time yesterday. Break it down for us.
Yeah, there's two quite separate things going on, as you say, Wilf. The first is the police investigation. And look, they are just going to look at the evidence, the emails that appear to have been sent from Lord Mandelson, where the allegation is that he passed on sensitive, market-sensitive, as you've been pointing out, information to Jeffrey Epstein while he was a minister.
On that, the Prime Minister's spokesperson yesterday, as you said, confirmed basically what we'd been alluding to. An initial review of the documents found they contain likely market-sensitive information surrounding the 2008 financial crash.
And that's a potentially big deal. And, the police investigation will run its course on that. The second thing that's going on is the focus on Keir Starmer, effectively, and on number 10, and on whether or not they should have appointed him to be US ambassador in the first place. That happened in December 2024. Because, look, they argue that Lord Mandelson wasn't straight with them, that Peter Mandelson wasn't straight with them, that they didn't know all this information. And to an extent, that is true. But there was an awful lot that was in the public domain, including his long-standing friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, including the fact that he stayed with him after his conviction, and an awful lot of questions around him. So what the Conservatives are now planning on doing is, as you say, using this kind of humble address to force the government to publish everything, to get it all out in the open, and to all the documents, all the briefing notes, all the advice, the emails that they had with Lord Mandelson, to see whether this vetting process was followed.
It's going to be really interesting kind of day in Parliament, and see how these votes go. Sort of sounds like it's not worth the government telling their MPs to vote against it. It would look so untransparent to do so, and therefore more might come out. Now, we said these two facets this morning, police investigation, Tory vote, are separate. There's one high-profile person that kind of links them, Gordon Brown. So the former Prime Minister, it appears, had told the Cabinet Secretary, Sir Chris Wormold, to investigate some of these areas that have come to light over the weekend back in September. Now, I'm not quite sure, it's not quite clear how Gordon Brown may have got wind of what was coming in these documents. But it seems like he had tried to tell the Cabinet Secretary to start an investigation of this ilk months ago, which clearly hasn't happened. So there's more to come on what government ministers did or didn't know, or could have known had they looked sooner, harder, deeper. And Gordon Brown is clearly furious because he was working unbelievably hard to pull the country out of the financial crisis, 2008, 9, 10. And one of his senior ministers, I imagine he thinks now, is sort of undermining him.
Yeah, and also they've got a lot of political history, let's not forget, right? Lord Mandelson and Gordon Brown, not all of it, I think, where they would have felt like they were fighting on the same team. But as you say, I think it underlines the central point that an awful lot of people were warning about the appointment of Lord Mandelson. And I think it is, I would say, kind of untenable for the government to continue to say that there was nothing to see here when it comes to the appointment. Police are also looking into a claim relating to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, this claim that a woman in her 20s was sent to Royal Lodge, which is the place where formerly Prince Andrew was living, for Andrew by Jeffrey Epstein. So that continuing, Andrew's not commented on the latest claims, it should say. He has previously denied any wrongdoing. And then the other headline is that he's actually now moved out of Royal Lodge. So he's apparently now living in a house on Sandringham Estate in Norfolk.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting about that, we were kind of debating, like, clearly the king has done pretty much everything he can to strip him of his titles and all that. And part of that was he'd move out of Royal Lodge, but he hadn't done so yet. The fact that all of a sudden, in the space of a day, he does suggest the king could have perhaps pulled an extra little lever that he didn't and sped up the process of the departure from a house, albeit I guess people would say this final lever is small relative to the bigger one he pulled last year. Gosh, sticking on the theme of royal families, the son of Norway's crown princess is expected to give evidence for the first time. He's accused in Norway of 4 charges of rape. He's actually accused of 38 offences in total, including causing bodily harm, transporting 3.5 kilograms of marijuana, speeding. We're talking about Marius Berg Hebe. Strictly, he's actually not a member of the royal family. He is the son of the crown princess before she married into the family.
The other point to make on this story is that this trial comes against a backdrop of revelations against his mother. So this is a crown princess, Mette Marit, showing that she had some kind of relationship with Epstein. So apparently she only began to speak to Epstein after he'd served prison time and was released in 2009. It also emerged the crown princess spent 4 days at Epstein's house in Palm Beach, Miami. This is in January 2013 when he was not present. I mean, it just continues, to be honest, to astonish how many wealthy, high-profile people were connected with Jeffrey Epstein, including after, crucially, his convictions.
Yeah. Mette Marit is set to become the next Queen of Norway. Separately, probably more importantly, crazy stuff, her son, who faces these 38 offences in court, could face a very significant prison sentence if he's found guilty.
News coming out of the US, Jill Biden, who of course is the wife of Joe Biden, the former US president, her ex-husband has been charged with first-degree murder after his current wife was found dead. So this is William Stevenson, that's the ex-husband, aged 77, and he's facing these charges over the death of his wife, Linda, and he's been held in prison in Delaware.
Yeah, Jill Biden was married to Stevenson from 1970 to 75, and he is, as you said, being held because he failed to post bail and therefore is being held. So the government today will publish its National Cancer Plan. This has been delayed a little bit by a year or so, but this is a big update to its long-term cancer plan, something the Department of Health does every now and then. The big pledge in it is that by 2035, 75% of patients who are diagnosed with cancer will be living well for at least 5 years after their diagnosis. The figure currently stands at 60%. I think a lot of areas on these metrics that while the UK has shown improvement in cancer, because the world has, because science and medicine has improved drastically, our pace of progress over the last decade relative to other countries has really slipped.
Yeah, it has. I think the government feels that we should be doing better, frankly, when it comes to cancer. And the main reason for this seems to be the speed of getting treatment, right? So scanning people in the first place, finding out they got cancer, and also that crucial timeline between getting a diagnosis and then starting treatment. That is currently too long. And I think that is the main thing that this plan is trying to tackle.
And I think, cutting those waiting lists will be key to it. I think some might say, and we need to get more details on this, okay, 60 to 75% will be quite a lot to do. But by 2035, with AI, with all the advances, Is it ambitious enough? But these are the details that we'll be getting into with the government across the next couple of days. A big announcement for Wes Streeting and his team today.
Well, it's been a pretty, I think it's fair to say, kind of heavy cheat sheet today. There's a lot of quite bad news going on, to be honest, in the world at the minute. So thanks for staying with us. And
we didn't get to mention that Arsenal have qualified for a final.
No. Go on then. You've done it now, though.
Carabao Cup.
Do you feel better?
Yeah, I do. But I want us to get over the line and not choke.
There you go.
And then I'll feel much better. Yeah. We're not there yet.
Hope you enjoyed today. Do give us an email, cheatsheet@sky.uk, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.